Olga Negrón, and I am a councilwoman in the city of Bethlehem. I'm the vice president of council right now. I live in Bethlehem for the last 21 years. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, but I've been in the Valley for 21 years, where I raised my 3 daughters who are grown adult women now. And I being an activist in the city of Bethlehem, most especially working in the south side of Bethlehem. When that process was in the middle of it, I was actually working for the city of Allentown, and there was a discussion of whether the casino was going to go to Allentown or to Bethlehem. And I was working with the Department of Economic and the Development and Economic, so I was very involved with the process in terms of the city of Allentown, and because I knew that if he was coming to Bethlehem, it was going to be in the south side, which is where I live. I was honestly praying that he would go to Allentown, and especially because visiting other casino areas, neighborhoods, especially Atlantic City, it was just really frightening, the thought of what happened in Atlantic City and the community, the neighborhoods surrounding the casino area. So it was something that I really didn't want to see happening in my neighborhood. I'm very biased, of course. I have a property right there. So when we got the announcement that it was happening, I actually cried. I was very upset. I was afraid. I was very scared that we were going to have another Atlantic City here. And what I did, I just became, I'm by training a community organizer. So, because of my fear, my concerns, I just became actively engaged in the process. And I'm really glad I did, because I changed my mind totally. A lot of check and balances were in place. I think that the state legislators really took time to take a look at what happened in Atlantic City and learn from mistakes that happened in there. And as the process went by, I learned more and more about the check and balances that they make sure are in place in order to avoid a lot of the issues that happen in Atlantic City. And I am today proud to say that I am glad. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad, it made a big difference. I do, and I have to say that right now I'm not as connected as I was at the beginning, because a lot of things are in place. Now we're in the middle of perhaps changing ownership and who knows name, and that will require from me in my mind to be part of that too, to make sure that everything stays as it is, or even better, who knows. But I remember, meeting many times with the president, Bob, back in the days. He was very receptive. He actually reached out to me many times, asking, Olga, we're thinking about this. How can we make this happen? Can you help me connect with the right organization? So I really believe that they always went the extra mile to make sure that they were reactive to, or doing what was best for the community. And I live here, so I'm walking all the time. I go the Greenway many times, different times of the day, and I see people walking with the uniform on, so, and that's exciting. That's like the ultimate goal there, seeing people walking to work, so, and I go there. I gamble at the penny machine, but I do. And many times I've sat in there or even eating in a restaurant, and a lot of people are working in there come to me, Olga, so I know they're there, they're working, and it's happening. I can tell you, when I was at the Hispanic Center, I was executive director there. And I remember, Christmas is a good time to think about giving. And they actually reached out to me and said, Olga, we want to engage our staff, our employees, and we want to donate not just the SANS, entity, but the employees and encourage them to get engaged with the community as well. So can you recognize families that by need some help during Christmas, maybe presents, getting kids some toys or something? So I said, sure, I can definitely do that. And, and they say, maybe choose 5, 6 families. I'm like, okay. Well, we started to reach out. I contacted my case managers, and we started to talk with families. And it was actually pretty amazing how we actually end up with 12 families. And I was like, I'm not going to choose. I'm just going to give them the 12. Well, they helped the 12 families. And something that really, they expressed, it really touched them, was that on that list of the 12 families, nobody had even one toy in the list. It was clothing, it was microwaves, it was beds, it was things that you take for granted, that everybody should have a microwave in their home, or a mattress in their home. Well, that was the list, and they bought everything. The family that was asking for mattress, they asked me to reach out and ask more. Well, they had 2 kids sleeping in one twin-size bed. They got them bunk beds, So they were very giving. They didn't, they were so touched by the fact that nobody really asked. And they buying toys too, They were like, you can have Christmas without toys. So they gave them gift cards for supermarkets so they can buy the food. They got the items that the families requested, from coats to, gloves and hats. And then also they got toys or gift cards for places they could purchase toys. So, that's something that might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but when you see the families' faces that they're getting more than they were expecting, it's pretty amazing. And, through Lehigh has also always been great doing the cleanup, the Southside cleanup. And they were right there. They said, no, we're going to send staff, and, all through the Greenway, all the area around the Sands, they clean up, and they're still doing that. It's been years. That whenever the date is chosen by Lehigh, they're right on the top of the list, and they're cleaning up too. So, it's just the little things that a lot of people might not even know about, but they're there. They're there. Absolutely. I actually had the privilege to speak in front of the gaming control board, that when they were in the process of at the beginning, they only had the machines, and they wanted to add the tables, the tables, right? That's what they call it, I think. So, but that's a different kind of licenses they needed. So they had to go in front of the board, and I remember Bob asked me if I would speak on behalf, and that's something that I took a lot of time, that speech, I took a lot of time writing it, because it really meant a lot to me. At that point, they have really been great to us, and I wanted to make sure that relationship was good, so I wanted to say good things. But yeah, I really remember when I talked about when I first moved here, that the South Side, after having the steel closed for so long, it was really like in the dark, and the suns came on. There was a lot of commotion, there was a lot of construction, there was a lot of noise, but now we have light, and it's like literally, it lit up the South Side. And the fact that they have engaged and helped support organizations in the South Side made it a big difference. So not only the literal word of the light is on, it's really have brought light to the South Side. And that's, as a South Sider, that's really the way I feel. Yeah, I actually had, when I was working for Steve Samuelson's office, state representative, I remember 2 individuals in the community constituents came to Steve's office. She didn't, neither of them spoke, they spoke English, they were bilingual, but they were not that fluent. And they got their, for the first time in their life, working on a job that gave them their 401k. So they got, one of them was actually with the insurance packet, the health insurance. And she was like, what do I need to do? Like she couldn't fill out the form. It was so complicated, all this paperwork. But, so that's a lot of things that we did in there. So I helped them fill out the forms, and with the 401k and with the insurance, the two different individuals. And just going through that and finishing it up and saying, so now you can have health insurance, and or you preparing yourself for your future with your 401k, and just seeing their the admiration and their, how grateful they are for having this opportunity to have a job right in their community, very close to home, and now having benefits they never had before. So I think, again, going back to the little things that make a big difference in someone's life. I think so. I think they do a lot of, now with the event center, it's even more another reason to go to just watch a comedy show and then hang out. The food court, and I remember I used to go with my daughters even when they were minors, and I remember my youngest, she's 26 now. I remember she kept on saying, I can't wait to be 21 so we don't have to have a guard, because they assign you a guard. So we were going into the restaurant, and they escorted us, because I had a minor, through the floor all the way to the restaurant, and then the escort stayed outside until we finished eating, and then escorted back. So I thought it was cool. My daughter didn't like it that much. She was like, I can't wait to be 20. And of course, when she turned 21, we went there and celebrated with her 21st birthday. But I really believe that it has been, it's a family-friendly place. The outlets, it's on the side where the food court is, and I go there often as I walk around, and I see families, hanging in there, taking advantage of great sales, because that's when I go, that's what I know. And the food court, the food is really good, it's exceptional. The restaurants inside the casino are a little pricey, but the food is excellent, so it's a great place to celebrate birthdays and such. So it happens only once a year. But I really believe it's been, there's only one thing that worries me now. The last time I went, which was a few months ago, I saw in the outlet area, they have what is it called? Like a game room. And I got a little worried. I'm like, are they training the kids how to play with machines and then they can grow up? So I got a little worried about that. But I mean, they are all over. Those electronic games that the kids enjoy, and they get tickets. And I was a little worried when I saw it. I'm like, they're training them from small. I haven't read enough about that to say that in fact that's what's happened. But but other than that, I've seen they celebrate in Christmas. They have Santa Claus in there, and people go take pictures, and the Easter Bunny. So they've been very friendly to be there for the community and to have a family welcome place. No, I am a little disappointed about that. I think that a lot of the development of the site was something because they do own a lot of the brownfields in the area, what the Bethlehem still was, and and this is a problem that I personally have. I deal with this with the administration all the time, with the city. When we're talking about developers doing a building or apartments or something, and when they talk about feasibility, that's not feasible. We don't, I'm like, why don't you do affordable housing, at least, half of it? That's not feasible. Well, feasible to them, I'm sure it's not like the same feasible that I think of, So the money-making machine is on, and that's all they think about. So when they talk about we're not doing the money we thought, therefore we can really develop this and that, it's disappointing. So yeah, I am disappointed that they didn't, and now they're leaving. So it's kind of like, oh, now you're gonna leave us, and you didn't do X, Y, and Z. Something that I was very worried about was the Third Street corner with Polk and Third, where we actually, I was in the planning commission before I was in council, and we approved the casino was going to sell that parcel to the city for $1 to build a parking garage, and that didn't, that it was just like a big hiccup. It's taking too long, and I kept on pushing the mayor, and it looks like it's going to happen. It looks like they already got an agreement written, and it's, there's a lot of legal paperwork that needs to be done, and I understand that, but the mayor assured that before the change of administration, that corner parcel is going to be ours, and we're going to be able to build the parking garage in there that we need with all the development that is happening around Third Street. But other than that, we were hoping to see more development in the area, and that didn't happen. Well, I moved here when the steel was already closed, was already shut down. And I bought my house in the south side, literally across the street from the Sands. My house is next to Donegan Elementary School. And I remember my sister, my older sister, was mad at me. She didn't talk to me for months because I bought the house in the south side. And she kept on saying, that's so full of crime, it's so dangerous. Why do you want to live there? You wasted your money. And I kept on saying, no, they're talking about changes and development. And she was like, they're not going to do anything. So I really made it my business to show my sister she was wrong and got more involved in the process. And I literally, I am glad. I feel like I was part of history, making sure my voice, the voice of the community, was heard in the process. Community action was instrumental in the process, and Lehigh University has to, with the Southside Vision, has been a great partnership, the city, Lehigh, and the community through community action, and millions of dollars have been invested in lights, in sidewalks, in facades, in parks, the skate plaza. So, and everything, all through the process, the community was involved. Small businesses getting facade grants, and homeowners, painting jobs. It really made a big difference. A place where it was a whole lot more scary to walk at night. It's now it has lights. The sidewalks are good, the lights are on. I walk in the Greenway at any time of the day and night. I feel safe. There are cameras everywhere, there's lights everywhere. And I see the community out there. It's amazing to see families, with their kids and bicycles or the skateboard. I go to that skate plaza, and there are families, all colors and all ages, from young to old. It's I wouldn't dare, I'm too old to do skating, but it's really awesome to see the families enjoying the space, and then being together as a family, as a community. I believe that the light, it really brought light to the community, the investments that the entities included, and the work that the casino, and I was worried about, for example, when they built the outlets, like literally all those lights, all those signs that all have lights. I was worried that the residents right across the street, like on Daly Avenue, were going to feel that impact and complain about it. But they're happy to see it. I talk with many of them, and they're like, it doesn't bother us, we like it, So, and I can sit in front of my porch with my cup of coffee, which I've done many, many times, and I can see the elevator, the glass elevator going up and down. I can see people going in and out. So it's here. It's brought a lot of great things to our community. I am, although I cried and I was really worried day one, I am glad now that it's here. Something else that people complain about, but they don't really understand the difference, and that's why they're complaining. People say we will want to get money from them because our taxes, we're going to go down, and the taxes haven't gone down. Well, they haven't gone down, but they haven't gone up. So the money that the casino is generating to the city has helped us balance the budget. Therefore, we had no reason to raise taxes. So people don't understand that. Everybody was waiting for a check from the Sands Casino. Well, no, I didn't get a check, but you know what? Taxes have been holding up pretty good. And again, when we're talking about putting the budget together, when at some point they were holding on the money, we were very scared. We're like, what are we going to do? We're not going to be able to balance this budget that we passed. So, it makes a big difference, the tax revenue that they are bringing to the community. And the budget is depending a whole lot in that money. And again, we don't have to suffer paying a whole lot more taxes. So I think that the revenue, and I think that also created a snowball effect in terms of, okay, something really good is happening. This is the place to be. Arts Quest. We got lots of money, that grant money that was able to develop Arts Quest. The Art Center is beautiful. Levitt Pavilion. Free concerts, a lot of arts going on. So I think that really created that snowball effect to the positive, where the South Side went from the dark to being full of light and life and arts, and having the charter school for the arts in there, bringing young people getting involved and doing murals and paint work around. I think that it really has created a positive snowball effect in the entire communities. The South Side is now the place that you want to be.